We just had a runoff now. We know that the mayor's race is in a runoff. Do you have any thoughts on the results Saturday, not only in the mayor's race, but in the council races?
Well, first of all, in the council races, I thought a lot of good people were elected. I'm feeling good about the council going forward. A few of the folks have runoffs, and we'll see what happens there. But it tells me that people are liking the city. People are liking the work done by the council. The win by Ms. Gates was overwhelming. That shows me that that people are very positive and people want to work with people that they like, and that people love Jennifer. And so that goes a long way. Personality is a big part of politics, as you know, and I think she did a great job setting the agenda.
What about the mayor's race? We're now in a runoff. Are you prepared to make any endorsements?
I'm not prepared at this point. I said I wasn't going to endorse anybody at the front end. I would examine it at the back end. So over the last couple of days, I've been thinking about it, and I'm talking to different people and getting some thoughts on it. Look, we had a lot of people run, a lot of good people. So it's not surprising that we had kind of lower turnouts for those runoffs. But I think there are some clear choices there. The big narrative, I think, that people need to be thinking about is Dallas going in the right direction or the wrong direction. I think that's going to be the question voters are going to ask themselves. Based on their view of that, will probably determine who's going to win the mayor's race.
And can you elaborate on that in the sense of, I mean, framing the question that way? Do you believe the candidates that are in the runoff now have views that you would consider wrong direction versus right direction?
Well, I think Mr. Griggs feels that we've made a lot of mistakes over the years, and he wants to do some things significantly different. He's espoused that in his campaign. Mr. Johnson, where I haven't talked to him in detail, talks about the growth that we're on, the momentum we've got, and wanting to continue that momentum. So I think they are framing it in a different manner. And now the citizens have got to say, hey, are things going good? Or am I upset and I want to change of direction?
Do you believe things are going well? I mean, this is your final...
You know, it's probably less about me. It's more about the citizens. But citizens have never been happier in this city than in history. We track them every 2 years, and it's a quantitative tracking, and their quality of life is higher than it's ever been, and it continues to grow versus other cities.
What will your determining factor be on deciding who you should endorse?
Well, first of all, I think is it important for citizens to know how I feel. You know, politically, I think endorsements are a little bit over-exaggerated. They might make a couple of points difference in the polls. But to me, I want to make sure that whatever I do is consistent with what I've done in the past, that people can say, okay, there's going to be more of that if that happens. And so that's why I just want everything to settle down a little bit, listen to people, and then I'll make that decision.
So here we are. You're in their last month, really, in office. Can you believe it's been 8 years?
I can believe it's 8 years. I felt every little wrinkle has been there. Every city council meeting. It's been such an honor. I mean, and Dallas is a great, great city, but it's a hard job. It's in a city manager form of government. It's so critical that our council comes together and allows our city manager to do their job. And at times we haven't had that. And there's been stress fractures there in trying to keep those things together, because I do believe citizens want a united city council taking us in a direction.
Do you think that's, as you leave, do you think that's in place?
I don't. At this point, I don't think it is. I'm hopeful with this new council it will be. And I would ask all the city council people to try to find common ground versus difference of opinions. And too many council people are saying, well, my idea is more important or better, or I need to speak louder about that. And I think we're better when we come together. And we've done that on many issues, but at times we're that way. I'll tell you that the thing I'm most concerned with, Jack, though, is the low turnout, okay? Is how the citizens take for granted how good we're doing in the city of Dallas. And it's like, it'll work out, all right? Local government is the most important part of their interaction. That's whether their streets are going to get paved, they're going to be safer, the police are in the right place, and how we are seen throughout the whole country, which drives business and the like. And so the most important thing I can do is continue to fight for citizens turning out to vote and finding ways to make it easier for them to vote, and I'm working on that in Austin now.
Well, I know you were back on April 29th. You were down in Austin testifying before the State Affairs Committee and really trying to push to pass that bill that was proposed by Senator Johnson. Where does that stand, and how important was that for you to go down there?
It was very important for me because I think it can make Dallas a much, much better city, even more than we've got, because I think we can kind of end some of the fractures. We'll come together with more and more people voting. And that's what's going to happen if you move the date. It's on the Senate floor now, and it's being debated, but it's made it through a couple of hurdles. And there seems to be bipartisan support for it. But we'll find out over the next couple of 3 months. The bill allows the citizens to sign a petition to get a referendum on the ballot to move the election date from some Saturday in May to the first Tuesday in November. We all know we vote on the first Tuesday in November. Or allows the city council to make that decision and move it. And so just optionality, let citizens make a decision. And I think they're going to say, all the ones I've talked to have said, please move the date, make it easier for us, and we'll have better turnout. What
is, in your opinion, the most important part of being a mayor?
Ooh.
And that can be anything from leading the council and trying to set the agenda, or it can be something where you have to bring the city together after a tragedy.
You know, probably the soft things of being a mayor are the most important things that aren't written in the charter. By the way, everybody thinks that the mayor has got power over everything, in which we don't, and that's not the case. But what I've seen as the most meaningful is when you step up on tough issues and advocate for what is right. And that's why I approached our education process the way we did. Education doesn't report to the city, but it's so critical. We have great education for those kids that are coming out of poverty, and I continue to fight for that. And so that was very, very important. I think it's very important to, on the national level, on the national stage, to represent our city in the way that says we're a city of diversity and inclusion, and we bring it together. So we did that when the president stopped all the immigrants coming in that one night at DFW, and that was not the way we do things in Dallas, and you needed to step up on issues like that. Those things mean the most to the citizens of Dallas. They appreciate every Wednesday when you go in there and you get through the agenda and you keep the city running, but ultimately they want to be proud of the city they live in, and they want to be proud of the mayor that's leading us.
I was there on the 50th anniversary commemoration of the JFK assassination.
And another example of that.
Right, and you spoke, you know, obviously the whole nation really was watching part of that. And then July 7th, after that tragedy, the nation was focused on Dallas, and you had to speak to the people. And I'm wondering, I was thinking back then at each of those times, listening to you, How did you prepare your remarks? Did you write them? And how do you try to bring a city together on such big occasions, sometimes good and sometimes really bad?
Yeah. So JFK's speech I worked on for 9 months before it. The comments I gave after 7/7, we had about a day to do those. And yes, I kind of write some things out. I work with other people to craft ideas. I've got a great speechwriter in my office to help me kind of get those thoughts. What people want in those moments is authenticity. They don't want you to hide the pain. This city has been through a lot of pain over the last 50 years because of JFK, but they also believe in redemption. They want hope that we can actually get there, and they want to believe that. And so you've got to craft it in a way that says, this is gut-wrenching stuff. This is tough stuff. But let me tell you, if we do X, Y, and Z, we'll get over it and we'll be better. And that's what those speeches tried to do.
How important is that for a mayor to have the ability to bring a city together at time of crisis?
Well, it makes such a difference on so many different levels, at the street levels, to the policymakers, to the state government, the respect that the state has for the city during those times. Individuals bear these burdens in different ways, but I saw that everybody was hurt by 7/7, okay? Police, civil rights leaders, regular citizens, the clergy, everybody was in pain. And we just needed to have a communal hug, okay? And somebody needed us to give permission to say, all right, let's put our arms around each other and give ourselves a big hug. And that's my role, or I felt that was my role as mayor.
And as far as you've had some contentious relationships with the police and fire associations with the whole issue about how to save that pension fund. You said some tough things about them.
I did, I thought carefully before I did, and I decided to say tough things because we were headed in the wrong direction at the legislature. In the House, things were happening that the citizens were not represented. Let me make it very clear. I am so proud of our police and our fire in this city. The rank and file members put their lives on the line, and they've given up their lives, and they have done a remarkable job. That's different than a negotiation that is financial to save the retirement for the future generations. Now younger police and fire are so thankful because we came this close to that thing just falling completely apart. There was a run on the bank, and those people that had been employed for a long time and wanted that retirement, they wanted their cash in the barrelhead. I understand that. They're not bad people, but we couldn't do that and have a pension fund long term. So I had to talk honestly about that. And I think citizens had a role in it. And I think we've got to govern that pension fund with intelligent, thoughtful, experienced leadership, and we didn't have that.
Proudest accomplishment?
Oh, I can't go there. Too close to it. I'll tell you, I was proud this weekend to see how some of those votes were coming together, and our city was starting to heal again, and the people were getting elected were people that I knew were there for the right reasons, and they weren't there to poke each other in the eye, but come together.
Regrets?
Usually a lot of little ones. Tell you, I had a moment with Mr. Griggs when I espoused a home rule. And Mr. Griggs said, I'll go with you if you'll take off the plate the DISD board being appointed by the mayor. And I just wanted it to be a blank slate, so I wanted us to think about any idea. And I said, no, I think we should leave everything on the table. And so he decided not to support it. That was probably a mistake. I should have probably compromised if we could have gotten everybody together. But because we did it, we got better trustees on there. Just this week, some wonderful trustees are in that board, and our school system's doing so much better in the performances. So there are moments like that that I question, should I have done something a little different there or that? I'm also continue to be heartbroken at how many women are being killed through domestic violence. It's an issue that's near and dear to my heart, you know, and we've made a lot of progress. We're getting more people calling now. They feel free that they can interact, but there's still those homicides out there that you'll report on from time to time, and it breaks my heart. So somehow I wish I had done more there.
And then an issue that has come up recently is this sense of, Dallas versus the region.
Yeah, I don't quite understand that.
And then local control, the tug of war between the states.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, that's politics. Everybody's trying to figure out the power. Look, I'm a Dallas first guy. I've always been. But in doing that, I believe the region has a way to help us. And so I'm not here to fight with Mayor Price in Fort Worth, okay? Or Mayor Harry in Plano. I mean, we have over 1 million people that come to our city every day to work. So we are not an insular place where we all live and work in the city. We're moving and flowing. So what we do regionally, we just announced the finalization of a bike trail between Dallas all the way to Fort Worth. That could only be done through regional cooperation. And those things are important. But I'm as competitive as the next guy, and we'll try to do whatever I can do to help the citizens of Dallas, because that's what will make us strong in the end. Now, the state level, I don't know what's going on. Someone once told me the phrase, where you stand is determined on where you sit, okay? Meaning, on an issue about control has everything to do whether you're in the seat that can control it or not. Historically, I think we've been a better nation when we've made sure that we let power flow to the local level and bubble up the policies that way, as opposed to one size fits all. That's not what people believe. Some people believe in the legislature. They believe that there should be one stamp on Texas and it should be one way. I think that's naive. We are a growth machine for this state. Somehow we've got the right mix, the right mix and spices in our soup, and it's been great for people. And why do we want to screw that up? I don't understand.